The cake smashed against my face, sweet vanilla frosting splattering like a slap from fate itself. "You think you can just waltz in here and steal everything without paying?" her husband bellowed, his voice echoing through the crowded Brooklyn bakery. I wiped the mess from my eyes, heart pounding, knowing this was the moment our secret world shattered, and my next words would change everything. Amira stood there, frozen in the chaos of flour-dusted counters and the hum of espresso machines. The bakery, a cozy spot in Park Slope where locals gathered for artisanal pastries and gossip, had turned into a battlefield. Anaya's husband, Marcus, loomed over the counter, his face twisted in rage, bits of cake crumbling from his clenched fist. The other patrons gasped, phones already out, capturing the spectacle that would no doubt go viral on social media by lunchtime. I licked the frosting from my lips, tasting the irony. Sweet on the outside, bitter underneath. "Marcus," I said, my voice steady despite the tremor in my chest, "this isn't about the bill. It's about Anaya choosing me." The words hung in the air like a confession in church, silencing the room. His eyes widened, the color draining from his face as realization dawned. He staggered back, speechless, as Anaya emerged from the back room, her apron smeared with dough, tears streaming down her cheeks. It all started 6 months ago, in the haze of a New York summer. Amira Khalil had just moved from Chicago to Brooklyn, chasing a dream job at a nonprofit advocating for LGBTQ+ rights. Fresh out of a messy breakup, I wasn't looking for love, just a decent cup of coffee and a place to unwind. That's when I stumbled into Sweet Haven, Anaya's bakery, tucked between brownstones and trendy boutiques. Anaya Patel was behind the counter that first day, her smile as warm as the fresh croissants she pulled from the oven. "What can I get for you?" she asked, her voice carrying a faint lilt from her Indian heritage, blended seamlessly with her American upbringing. She was in her mid-30s like me, with deep brown eyes that seemed to hold stories untold. I ordered a latte and a slice of her signature lemon cake, and as she handed it over, our fingers brushed. It was electric, a spark I hadn't felt in years. We chatted casually at first about the humidity, the best spots for street food, the endless construction on the subway. But soon our conversations deepened. Anaya shared how she'd opened the bakery 5 years ago, pouring her soul into it after quitting a corporate job in finance. "It's my escape," she confessed one afternoon, as we sat at a corner table during a slow hour. "From the expectations, the routine, everything." I nodded, understanding all too well. My own life had been a series of escapes, from a conservative family in the Midwest who never quite accepted my sexuality, to relationships that fizzled because I was always the one fighting for visibility. "Sometimes," I said, "we build walls to protect what's real inside us." Anaya's eyes met mine, a flicker of something vulnerable passing between us. She was married, I knew that from the ring on her finger, but she never mentioned Marcus much. When she did, it was with a distant tone, like recounting a story from someone else's life. "He's a good guy," she'd say, "but we're more like roommates these days." As weeks turned into months, our encounters became ritual. I'd stop by after work, helping her close up shop. We'd laugh over botched recipes or share playlists of indie folk music that spoke to our souls. One evening, as rain pounded the windows, Anaya opened up about her past. "I grew up in Jersey, parents immigrated from India. They wanted the American dream, stable job, marriage, kids. I tried to fit that mold." "But," I prompted gently, sensing the weight behind her words. "But it never felt right. I married Marcus because, well, it was expected. He's kind, successful in tech, but there's no fire. No passion." She looked away, fiddling with a napkin. "I've always felt drawn to women, but I buried it. Until now." My heart raced. "Anaya," Before I could finish, she leaned in, her hand covering mine. "Amira, meeting you has awakened something in me. Something real." That was our first kiss, hidden in the dim light of the bakery's storage room, surrounded by sacks of flour and the scent of cinnamon. It was tentative at first, then fervent, a release of pent-up emotions. From that moment we were inseparable, stealing moments whenever we could. Late-night walks in Prospect Park, whispered confessions over stolen lunches. But secrets have a way of festering. Marcus started noticing Anaya's late hours, her distracted smiles. He confronted her one night, but she deflected, not ready to shatter their fragile marriage. I urged her to be honest, but fear held her back. What if I lose everything? She'd whisper in my arms. The bakery, my family. You. I promised I'd be there no matter what. Little did I know the storm was brewing. One crisp autumn day, I stopped by for our usual rendezvous. Anaya was in the back, baking a wedding cake for a client. Marcus, unusually present, was helping with inventory. I ordered my coffee, but when I reached for my wallet, it wasn't there. Left at home in my rush. I'll pay you back tomorrow, I said to Anaya, who waved it off with a wink. Marcus overheard. Wait, you're just giving stuff away now? To her. His tone was sharp, laced with suspicion. It's fine, Marcus, Anaya said quickly. Amira's a regular. But he wasn't having it. No, it's not fine. We're running a business, not a charity. His eyes narrowed at me, as if seeing me for the first time. That's when he grabbed the sample cake from the display and hurled it. The impact stung, but the real pain was in Anaya's gasp, the way she rushed to my side. Marcus, stop. This has to end. He froze, piecing it together. What? What do you mean? Anaya took a deep breath, her hand in mine. I'm in love with Amira. I've been trying to tell you. His face crumpled, the anger giving way to betrayal. He stormed out, leaving us in the wreckage of frosting and shattered illusions. That night, Anaya came to my apartment in Greenpoint, her eyes red from crying. He's devastated, she said, collapsing into my arms. But I can't live a lie anymore. We held each other through the tears, knowing the road ahead would be rocky. Divorce papers, family reactions, the judgment from our communities, it loomed like a shadow. But in that moment, our love felt unbreakable. The days following the bakery incident blurred into a whirlwind of emotions. Marcus filed for divorce almost immediately, citing irreconcilable differences. Anaya moved out of their shared brownstone in Cobble Hill, crashing on my couch while we navigated the logistics. I feel guilty, she admitted one evening, as we sipped wine on my fire escape, overlooking the twinkling lights of the East River. He didn't deserve this blindsiding. I squeezed her hand. Neither did you, living half a life. Love isn't about convenience, it's about truth. Anaya nodded, but the weight of it all showed in her weary eyes. Her parents, still in New Jersey, were heartbroken. How could you do this to us? Her mother wailed over the phone. What will people say? Anaya's Indian heritage clashed with her newfound identity, creating a rift that cut deep. Meanwhile, my own family dynamics resurfaced. My parents, Egyptian immigrants who'd settled in Chicago, had accepted my sexuality begrudgingly. But when I told them about Anaya, the questions poured in. She's married? With a husband? Amira, this is complicated. I defended our love, but doubt crept in. Was I ready for this level of drama? The bakery became our sanctuary and battleground. Business dipped at first. Whispers of the cake fight scandal spread through the neighborhood. Some customers boycotted, calling it a family values issue. Others rallied, turning Sweet Haven into a symbol of queer resilience. Pride flags appeared in the windows, and Anaya started hosting LGBTQ+ baking workshops. One afternoon, as we kneaded dough together, Anaya paused. Remember our first kiss? It felt like coming home. I smiled, flour on my nose. Every moment with you does. But tension simmered. Marcus wasn't done. He showed up unannounced one day, papers in hand. I want half the bakery, he demanded. It's community property. Anaya's face paled. Marcus, please. This is my dream. He sneered. You destroyed ours. Why should I care? I stepped in. Because you're better than this. Anaya never meant to hurt you. He looked at me, the woman who'd stolen his wife, and for a moment vulnerability flashed. How long? He asked quietly. 6 months, Anaya whispered. He exhaled sharply. I suspected, but, God, it hurts. He left without another word, but the threat lingered. As winter approached, our relationship deepened amid the chaos. We spent Thanksgiving with a chosen family, friends from the nonprofit and bakery regulars. Anaya cooked a fusion feast. Turkey with masala spices, pies infused with cardamom. Laughter filled my apartment, a balm for our wounds. Yet cracks appeared. Anaya's guilt manifested in mood swings. What if I'm making a mistake? She'd say during sleepless nights. You're not, I'd reassure, but insecurity gnawed at me. Was I enough to fill the void? The high point came during a snowy December evening. We walked through Central Park, hand in hand, the city aglow with holiday lights. Marry me, Anaya blurted suddenly, stopping under a lamppost. I laughed, surprised. What? Not now, but someday. When we're ready. I want forever with you. Tears froze on my cheeks as I pulled her close. Yes. 1,000 yes. But fate had other plans. Marcus, in a fit of desperation, leaked details of our affair to a local blog. The post went viral. Brooklyn bakery owner leaves husband for female lover. Cake fight ensues. Reporters swarmed, turning our private pain public. Anaya spiraled. This is too much, she cried, packing a bag. I need space. My world shattered. Space? From us. From everything. I'm sorry, Amira. She left for her parents' house in Jersey, leaving me alone in the silence. Days turned to weeks without contact. I threw myself into work, advocating fiercer than ever, but the ache was constant. One night, scrolling through old photos, I realized our love was worth fighting for. I drove to Jersey, heart in throat. Her mother answered the door, stern but softening. She's in the garden. Anaya sat on a bench wrapped in a blanket. What are you doing here? Fighting for us, I said. Like you fought to be true to yourself. She stood, tears falling. I was scared. But I miss you every second. We embraced, the winter chill melting away. Reconciliation wasn't easy, therapy sessions, honest talks with Marcus, mending family ties. But slowly healing began. By spring, the divorce finalized amicably. Marcus kept his distance but wished Anaya well in a heartfelt letter. Find your happiness, he wrote. Anaya and I reopened Sweet Haven with a relaunch party, featuring a new Love Wins cake line. The community turned out in droves, celebrating not just pastries but resilience. As blossoms painted Brooklyn in pinks and whites, our life together bloomed anew. Anaya moved in permanently, turning my cramped apartment into a home filled with her spices and my books. We adopted a rescue cat, naming her Frosting in ironic tribute to the incident that sparked our public coming out. Work thrived. My nonprofit landed a major grant for queer youth programs, inspired by our story. Anaya's bakery expanded, adding a cafe section where couples of all kinds lingered over coffee. This is what freedom tastes like, she'd say, serving slices with a smile. But shadows of doubt lingered. Anaya's family visited sporadically, her mother's acceptance tentative. As long as you're happy, she'd murmur, though her eyes betrayed lingering disappointment. One evening during a quiet dinner, Anaya dropped a bomb. Marcus called. He wants to meet. My fork paused midair. Why? To apologize, I think. Closure. Jealousy flared unbidden. Do you need that? From him. She reached across the table. For us to move forward, yes. I nodded, swallowing my pride. The meeting happened at a neutral coffee shop in Manhattan. I waited nearby, nerves frayed. When Anaya returned, her expression was serene. He admitted he knew deep down our marriage was fading. He's dating someone now, happy. Relief washed over me. And you? Free, she said, kissing me softly. Summer brought heat and high drama. A conservative group picketed the bakery, protesting traditional values erosion. Signs read God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve or even Eve. Counter-protesters showed up, turning it into a block party for equality. Amid the chaos, Anaya received an anonymous letter. You'll pay for breaking a good man's heart. Chills ran down my spine. We reported it to the police, but they dismissed it as a prank. Then the vandalism started. Graffiti on the bakery door. Homewrecker. Shattered windows one night. Anaya crumbled. Is this worth it? All this hate. I held her as she sobbed. Love is always worth it. We'll fight back. We did, with community support. Fundraisers repaired the damage, and media coverage turned us into local heroes. But the stress strained us. Arguments erupted over small things. Who forgot the groceries, why I worked late. One explosive night, Anaya shouted. Maybe I rushed into this. Maybe I wasn't ready. Hurt, I fired back. Then go back to your safe life. She stormed out, leaving me in regret. Hours later, a knock. Anaya, rain-soaked. I don't want safe. I want you. We made up with tears and promises to communicate better. Fall arrived with a surprise. Anaya's pregnancy scare. Wait, no, that couldn't be. Wait, from before? No false alarm, but it dredged up old wounds. I always wanted kids, she confessed. With Marcus, it never happened. We can explore options, I said. Adoption, IVF. Together. Her eyes lit. Really? Absolutely. But betrayal lurked. A former friend of Marcus's, bitter, spread rumors online. Anaya had cheated multiple times. I was just the latest. The lies stung, especially when Anaya's cousin believed them, cutting ties. Anaya confronted me. Did you ever doubt me? Never, I assured. But inside, seeds of insecurity grew. The climax hit during a charity gala for my nonprofit. Anaya and I attended, dressed to impress. Marcus was there, unexpectedly, with his new girlfriend. Awkward hellos exchanged. Then, a drunk attendee cornered Anaya. So, you're the one who left her husband for a woman? Scandalous. Anaya held her ground. Love isn't scandalous. Hiding it is. Proud, I watched. But later Marcus pulled me aside. Take care of her. She deserves real happiness. I will, I promised. As we danced under chandeliers, Anaya whispered. This is our life now. No more hiding. Yet, the anonymous threats escalated. A brick through our window with a note. End it or else. Fear gripped us. We installed security, but paranoia set in. Who could it be? Anaya wondered. Investigation revealed it was Marcus's ex-colleague. Jealous of his promotion and projecting rage. Arrested, the harassment stopped. Relief brought closeness. We planned a trip to California. Driving the Pacific Coast Highway, rediscovering joy. The California sun kissed our skin as we cruised Highway 1, windows down, wind whipping our hair. Big Sur's cliffs dropped dramatically to the ocean, mirroring the highs and lows of our journey. This is healing, Anaya said, her hand on my thigh, a simple touch that spoke volumes. We stopped in Monterey, walking hand in hand along the wharf, seals barking below. Over seafood dinner we talked dreams. A family, Anaya said. Our bakery chain. Travel. And us always, I added. Back in Brooklyn, reality hit. Anaya's health faltered. Stress-induced migraines, exhaustion. Doctors prescribed rest, but she pushed on. I can't let the bakery down. I insisted on helping more, balancing my job with shifts behind the counter. Our bond strengthened through shared labor. Winter's grip tightened, bringing holidays laced with emotion. We hosted a blended gathering. My parents flew in, Anaya's joined virtually. Tensions eased as stories flowed. My dad's tales of Egypt, Anaya's mom's recipes shared. But a phone call shattered the peace. Marcus in a car accident. Minor, but Anaya rushed to the hospital. He's alone, she explained. Jealousy reared again. Go, I said, masking hurt. She returned late, conflicted. He asked if I regretted leaving. My heart sank. No. But seeing him vulnerable, it stirred old guilt. We argued fiercely. Do you still love him? Not like that. But care? Yes. I slept on the couch, doubt swirling. Morning brought apologies. I choose you every day, Anaya said. Therapy helped unpack layers. My abandonment fears, her people-pleasing tendencies. Spring renewal came with a proposal, mine this time. On the Brooklyn Bridge at sunset I knelt. Anaya, through cake fights and heartbreaks, you've been my light. Marry me. Tears streaming, she said yes. Cheers from passersby echoed our joy. Planning the wedding infused life with purpose. Venue. A rooftop in Dumbo, overlooking Manhattan. Theme fusion of cultures, Egyptian lanterns, Indian garlands, American vows. But drama struck. Anaya's brother, conservative, refused to attend. This isn't right, he emailed. Heartbroken, Anaya wavered. Maybe we postpone. No, I urged. This is our moment. The day arrived, perfect blue skies. Friends filled the space, love palpable. As we exchanged rings, Anaya's voice trembled. Amira, you taught me to embrace my truth. I promise to love you fiercely. I vow to stand by you in every storm. I replied. The reception buzzed with dancing toasts. Even Marcus sent a gift, a custom cake stand with a note, wishing you both happiness. Post-honeymoon in Hawaii, life settled. We started fertility treatments, Anaya carrying our child via donor. Excitement mixed with nerves. But complications arose. Anaya's pregnancy high risk. Bed rest ordered. I juggled everything, fear constant. What if I lose you? I whispered one night. You won't, she assured. We're fighters. The birth was intense, but our daughter Layla arrived healthy, her cries music to our ears. Holding her, Anaya smiled. Our miracle. Parenthood transformed us. Sleepless nights bonded us deeper. The bakery thrived under a manager, allowing family time. Years passed in a blur. Layla grew into a spirited toddler. Our home filled with laughter. Anaya's family softened, her brother eventually apologizing. One anniversary we revisited the bakery. Remember the cake? Anaya laughed. How could I forget? I grinned, pulling her close. Our love, forged in fire, emerged stronger. A testament to resilience, forgiveness, and the human spirit. As Layla turned 5, our life in Brooklyn felt like a well-worn novel, pages dog-eared with memories, spine creased from constant rereading. Sweet Haven had expanded to 2 locations, one in Queens, buzzing with diverse crowds. Anaya's fusion pastries, samosa croissants, baklava cheesecakes, became city staples, symbolizing our blended worlds. My nonprofit grew too, opening a youth center in Harlem. Inspired by you too, a teen told us at the ribbon cutting. Seeing love win gives hope. But life isn't without echoes of the past. Marcus remarried, inviting us to his wedding in a gesture of peace. We attended, closure complete. Thanks for being gracious, he said, hugging Anaya lightly. No hard feelings, she replied. At home, challenges persisted. Layla's questions about her origins sparked deep talks. You have 2 moms who love you endlessly, we explained. Schoolyard taunts tested her resilience. Why no dad? Kids asked. Because families come in all shapes. Layla echoed our words, proud. Anaya's health scare returned. A lump, benign but a wake-up call. We need to slow down, she said. We did, prioritizing picnics in the park, storytime cuddles. Our love evolved. From passionate sparks to steady embers, warming through winters. A decade after the cake incident, we renewed vows on a California beach, Layla scattering petals. To enduring love, we toasted. Reflecting, Anaya mused. That day in the bakery? It was the end of one chapter, start of our epic. Best plot twist ever, I agreed. Our story, shared in a memoir Anaya wrote, inspired others. Book signings drew crowds, tales of coming out, rebuilding. One reader approached. Your journey gave me courage to leave my unhappy marriage. That's the point, Anaya said. Love authentically. As we aged gracefully, hair silvering, wrinkles mapping laughs, our bond deepened. Grandchildren visited, Layla's kids, filling the house with chaos. In quiet moments we'd sit on the porch, hands intertwined. Regrets? I'd ask. None, Anaya always answered. You were worth every storm. The end came softly, as Anaya slipped away in her sleep at 78, after a life full. I held her hand, whispering, wait for me. At her memorial, stories poured. The bakery legacy, advocacy, impact, our unbreakable love. I lived on, cherishing memories until joining her years later. Our tale? A reminder that love in all forms triumphs with drama, tears, romance, and humanity at its core.